The eviction of Dale Farm gypsy travellers from a site in Essex in England has gripped the nation's attention. Much as the riots have done before, it exposed an underbelly of British society which many people like to overlook, and that is one of the anti-cultures of British society, which is the Gypsies themselves. There used to be a cultural um, way for people to get out of homelessness, but in actual fact today it causes more problems for the Gypsies than it does as much as it does for the host nation. And this is the reason why it is a question about the law and the conception of who owns the land. They have the deeds to the land, the Gypsy travellers. They bought the land. They bought the land off the council, but they didn't ask for planning permission to build on the land. It is greenbelt land. There are laws about who owns the land, and there are quangos and other organisations which are there to safeguard the way that the countryside is maintained. But it begs the question to ask, should the people who have to put up with gypsy encampments around themselves be compensated? And I asked this question of a friend of mine. They said, well, mate, no, they shouldn't. They should just be moved on. The gypsies, that is. But this to me seems short-sighted. At present, we know where the gypsies are. They live in Dale Farm in this particular instance. To move them on will just leave a wrecked area which will probably be developed by the government into new housing rather than restored to greenbelt land. So the government is being hypocritical here. They're saying that no, these people are breaking the law, but they probably will build houses on there and make a profit in some fashion. The travellers themselves have had to deal with homelessness, and if anyone is perhaps Americans from Hurricane Katrina have seen this video when it's on YouTube, will understand what a terrible predicament it is to be homeless, to not know where you're going to rest your head at the end of the day. And this was a topic I covered in my 1 million abandoned homes videos on the subject of homelessness in Britain. And it will also add more pressure on the social services which are being cut by this government in another short-sighted move, leaving people permanently homeless. And if they're not permanently homeless, then because the Gypsies are from an ethnic minority, they will trump English people who are homeless. So therefore, both sides are losing. To me, this is a really stupid idea of trying to evict the travellers from Dale Farm. If we know where they are, then they can send people there to educate them on how to have smaller families and to integrate into the local British or English society. And to me, this is the best way that you're going to solve the problems of gypsy encampments, to normalise relations between two different nations, because the Gypsies are a distinct nation. Okay? I personally don't like them very much, but I do respect them. They expose a hypocrisy within British society where everybody is talking about, yes, the law must be followed, but secretly they're breaking it. We have seen thousands of people rob from the financial services. One man particularly today has stolen billions of pounds from UBS, Swiss bank. And also there have been other cases where billionaire gangsters have stolen billions and billions of pounds from the banks during the time of the financial crisis. So am I arguing for anarchy here? No, I am not arguing for anarchy. Each problem must be solved proportionately. And the best way to proportionately solve the gypsy problem of encampments and of the need for land is to look directly at the law. Now, God, as a conception in the legal um, construct is very important here, because the crown holds the land in trust of God. That is what the law says, right? So no one owns the land. If you're an atheist, if you believe that you're an atheist or an agnostic, then no one owns the land. Only private individuals own the land. And they have therefore a duty to, within a social democracy, to abide by the laws of the land. So yes, it is wrong that the Gypsies didn't apply for planning permission, but they have the deeds to the land, which is held in trust by the Crown, which is held in trust by the council, who serve the Crown, who is held in trust by Parliament, who serve the Crown, and the Parliament represent the people who serve the Crown, who hold the land in trust of God. That is what common law and statute law says. And so, from my readings of the legal system, and so it is very difficult for people to say, you should knock down this house, because Parliament, it says, Parliament is sovereign. Yes, within our system, Parliament is sovereign. Parliament has made laws. But who owns the land is a critical question. And it will be about, in my next video on the Palestinians' claim getting a state, will be on a similar vein of topic. I mean, why else do we pay taxes? We pay taxes because the law is there to protect us, and we pay taxes up the chain of command to who owns the land. So that's an allusion to who owns the land is the Crown, and the Crown keeps it in trust of God. That is what Anglo-Saxon law and modern law has said. So whether you believe in God or not, it's not important. What is important is the concept of God as a legal conception. And so, therefore, I think we're being short-sighted to evict the people from Dale Farm. It will cause homelessness. It will cause the waiting list for council properties for English people to increase. It will make the situation worse. There will probably be a riot when the bulldozers and bailiffs go in. It will cost billions of pounds to rehouse all these people, and it will make further encampments all over the country, which won't be controlled, which can't be taxed, which can't have social services and water mains and electricity delivered to those people. And all the people who say, yeah, let's get rid of the Gypsies, let's do it, right, for England, okay, you're missing the point. You will be the first people to say, not in my backyard, not in my corner of England. Well, if we don't like the Gypsies in England, perhaps we should send them back to Romania. But then again, we wouldn't be able to do that because of the human rights legislation, and rightly so. These people are perhaps despicable human beings, but they are human beings, and we should perhaps have a little bit more sympathy for their predicament, because we will be making them homeless, and because of that, we'll be making our own people create more homelessness among our own people, because we won't be able to give them council properties. And all the people who are in the Tory press who are for this, if they're so for evicting the people from Dale Farm, let's settle the people of Dale Farm in Mayfair and see how many thousands of millionaires queue up along the streets to say, no, we don't want them in our backyard, let them settle there. So settle them in one place, keep them there, make sure that they're educated. We have to break their culture so that they become part of British culture, and then we will have no more problem, because it's a cultural problem, it's not a racial problem. The Gypsies are originally not a Nordic or Celtic people, but they are a Nordic and Celtic people today because of intermarriage and interbreeding between the different nations. And so that's my comment on it. I'm not a fan of the Gypsies, but myself, from my own experience in life, but I do respect them, and they do deserve to have a place of their own in Dale Farm. Let's not spread the problem all over the country. Thank you for listening. Please leave comments.